Welcome everyone to Kitty Clicker. This is, of course, because you couldn't tell, a Game Jolt title. I don't really know what to expect from this. It's just a clicker game. And also, it seems to break. So I gotta press escape every time. I gotta right click instead of left click. I get you. So this is legitimately just another clicker game, apparently. I suppose that's to be expected. I mean, honestly, it's just another clicking game. You just gotta click away. So I don't particularly know what to expect, or rather, I don't particularly know how to make an episode out of this. I just saw a cat, and I didn't put two and two together. I suppose I'm just that bad. Anyway, hey, look, I can get an employee. Sweet. Look at that. There's so little else I can say other than, it's like it's just a clicking game. I mean, it is technically the easiest type of game to make. It's just, well, it's easy and it's hard because on one end, it's like the mechanics are very simple, but like I've said in the past, I myself, pretty much incapable of doing simple, really easy games because with simplicity comes a challenge of its own. In order for something simple to be appealing to others, you gotta make sure that it all works out really well. Since it's simple, it has to work, it has to connect with people in the most primal way possible. For example, the thing that choose your own adventure games have, it's very simple. It's basically a book, but they make it fun. Like they give you options. They make the story really fun to read. You want to keep going. And I mean, it is simple, yes, but coming up with a good story, making sure you keep their attention, making sure the few mechanics that the game has work well is just, it all adds up. It's simple, but there is a complexity of its own to it. Which is rather interesting. Anything in the world can be simple, but there's always one part that is crucial. At this point, I'm just talking. I mean, honestly, I would look around for another game, but I mean, I just don't have the time. I legitimately, it would take longer to find another game and record that than it would for me to just kind of come up with things to talk about. And it's not that it's hard to talk about. Like, me as a developer, I can pretty much break down and give what little insight I have about making a game such as this. And I do wonder, actually, now that I'm playing this, because I played Cookie Clicker a long time ago. I mean, I got addicted. Admittedly, I am not particularly ashamed, but I spent way more time than I should ever spend on a clicker game on that one. I had auto clickers, of course, and don't get me wrong, it is fun, especially the infinite replayability, because eventually, if you get far enough, you can reset the whole thing, and get special abilities that don't go away once you reset. And that does admittedly add a twist of its own to the mix, because at that point it's like, oh, I want to get all of the upgrades. Like it's a sense of wonder and accomplishment, because since the final upgrades only happen once you reset, you get the special points that you don't get any other way. It's like it's a sense of doing something special. It's like, oh, this is special. These points are hard to get, but I worked hard for them. You didn't really, it's not that you worked hard for them, but you took a lot of time to get them, so it adds that special feel to it. Oh, I had 69 for a minute there. And of course, there's cookie clicker style games, or rather clicker style games out there that add a twist of its own. much like that game that or rather Markiplier played a long time ago, Inside of a Room. That it at its core was more or less a clicker game, yes, but the story in and of itself, regardless of the simplicity of the mechanics, was just so interesting that it added a change to the age-old recipe. I mean, that story was dark. It was filled with just things you wouldn't expect from a clicker game. When you see a clicker game, you know, you see things like this, like, oh, this is fun, this is just kind of a waste of time, yes, but you just don't expect the story that we got to see from that game. I wish I could tell you what the game's title was. I really do, but unfortunately my memory has not improved whatsoever in the past couple years. The story is just not something you'd expect. Especially not from a game as simple as a clicker, but you know, much like any other game, with a simple base, it's basically it's exactly that. It's something to go from. It just offers so much maneuverability, you know, so much opportunity to build upon that recipe. It really does. So I mean, the ability to make something truly wondrous, I mean, it is there. That being said, I think I've talked about as much as I can. I mean, I really did try my best to fill this episode. And I hope that I provided some useful insight and not just, you know, boring talked. Me hope I not talk boring. I really did attempt my best to use my knowledge. And admittedly, if you're trying to start a YouTube channel, play games like these that have almost nothing to show. This is purely improv. This whole episode has run on nothing but improv, and given that I'm not really all that good at improv still, you know, of course, you know, I am trying. I am doing my best to, you know, get out of my shell, and slowly but surely, you know, I am getting better at the whole improvisational thing, but I'm not that good yet. But I did try my best, especially on this episode. So if you wanna get your improv skill, you know, leveled up, play a game that has almost no audience interest. I mean, there's so little for people to see here at this point. It's just if anyone stuck through this entire episode, is purely because they were interested in what I was saying, or because, I don't know, maybe they're studying. Because what I usually do is I work while I listen to YouTube videos, and it's not a bad way of doing things, especially when you have ADHD. You know, you need something else taking up that extra attention so that you can actually, you know, function and actually work on your job, which is weird, you know, because on one end you're getting your stuff done, but on the other, the only way you're getting your actual work done is by being distracted from it. I don't know if this works. I don't know if everybody else is this way, but I personally, the only way I can ever get anything done is if I have something else happening in the background. Like if I'm hearing something else, like, you know, usually it's just Markiplier or the Game Grumps, but sometimes it's like it could be a horror story, it could just be music. Anyway, I think I've squeezed this for as much as I can. I am having such a hard time speaking at this point because, you know, like I said, I have terrible memory. And whenever I just talk for prolonged amounts of time, my memory slowly starts to deteriorate to the point that I can't remember any words, or like even when I'm trying to say things, like I cannot remember the words I want to use, so I just kind of clam up. So I'm just gonna leave you with you guys with this. If you guys want to play this game, it is very basic. That being said, if you want to practice your improv skills, play this game and try to, you know, come up with interesting things to talk about. I did my best. Whether or not I succeeded, I have no way of knowing until after I release this video, and, you know, if anyone actually watches it. I have no clue at this point. Since I'm just barely starting out now, you know, and I did take like a 2 or 3 month break, it's like whether or not any of my videos, you know, get views is kind of up in the air. I have no clue. But anyway, I've officially maxed out everything. I didn't think I could fill this episode with as much as I have, so editing this is gonna be a nightmare. Thank you all for tuning in. If you stuck out this long, well then, I don't know why. I imagine maybe I was saying something right, although what that was, I have no clue. Well, as always, hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Until next time.